Patrick Mahomes on Saturday. Come on down.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is another episode of Locked On Lions, everybody, in the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Matt Dery with you on this, a beautiful Thursday, August 15th and a Friday, August 16th. Thanks for checking us out wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for making us your first listen. For those of you watching for free on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel, thank you for that. And for subscribing, we appreciate that very much as well. Shout out to our everydayers who watch or listen to the show daily here on Locked On Lions. That includes a man by the name of Tom Moriarty, the pride of Aurora, Illinois, Wayne's World country. Tom Moriarty's daughter, Carrie, is friends with Colton Pouncey, who we had on yesterday from The Athletic. And Colton said Tom is a big fan of Locked On Lions. So, Tom, thank you so much. Shout out to your daughter, Carrie, as well. We love Lions listeners and fans all over this great nation. Locked On Lions today, as I mentioned before, on this beautiful Thursday, is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. As playoffs have wound down, the sports aren't really sportsing, although Javi Baez, baby, game-winning home run today. Hey, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus. So get in on the action, even though the sports aren't sportsing right now. Daily. That's right. Something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. You can follow us on Twitter at Dery Speaks, at Locked On Lions as well. Matt Dery Facebook fan page. And as I said before, thank you to those of you that check us out on YouTube. Coming up on the program today, as I take a little sip of water, Saturday just got really interesting. Andy Reid made a very interesting announcement today about his plan for Saturday's big preseason tilt. Chiefs and Lions, the lid lifter. No, I'm just kidding. One of my listeners, my buddy Al, said, "Are you doing a certain impersonation with somebody with lid lifter?" And I said, "Absolutely, I am." So Saturday's going to get interesting. We will explain coming up momentarily. A lot of Lion fans were hopeful. Matthew Judon, the pride of Detroit and Grand Valley, was going to be coming to Detroit. I will tell you why he is not. He's heading to Atlanta, but there's a reason behind that. Also, I've done a lot of spots. I've been interviewed a lot on sports radio stations around the country talking about the Lions. And there's two questions that always come up. Two topics that always come up. I was on in Lafayette, Louisiana today on their ESPN radio station, a guy named Dalton. And he asked me two questions that come up every time. I'm going to get into that coming up momentarily. And later today, later on the show, our call of the day. One of our everydayers checking in on our SpeakPipe voicemail system. If you go to SpeakPipe, PIPE.com/Dery podcast page, SpeakPipe.com/Dery podcast page, you can leave a voicemail and we might play it and use it as our call of the day. So please do that. All right. Saturday at 4:00, the Lions will be at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City to take on the red and white, the Kansas City Chiefs, the back-to-back Super Bowl champions. And maybe I'm dressing like Andy Reid today. If you've seen, if you're watching on YouTube, I got a nice little Hawaiian shirt going today. This is what Andy Reid always wears. But I saw this today on Yahoo Sports. Yes, Yahoo Sports is still a thing. From Ed Easton Jr. And it says, Andy Reid shares lineup plans for Chiefs preseason matchup versus the Lions. This could be, folks, a Super Bowl preview. Lions and Chiefs. Reid was asked about his plans for who's playing and who's not playing coming up on Saturday. Quote, as far as the playtime goes, the ones will take a half, said Reid. Then we'll kind of fill in after that and just kind of see how the rest of that goes to the third and fourth quarters. End quote. The ones will take a half? Woo-hoo. So Patrick Mahomes, Pacheco, Kelsey, Xavier Worthy. We're going to see the Chiefs' first stringers in this game on Saturday. Now, Dan Campbell spoke on 97.1 The Ticket yesterday, I believe on the morning show, and said it's up to the players on if they want to play or not. But he said you're not going to expect to see a lot of the first teamers, a lot of the first stringers. So this makes Saturday's game a little bit more intriguing. First of all, I will say it again, just like I've been saying on the show. Preseason football sucks. I'm not going to get too overly crazy. With that being said, I miss football. It's the Lions. They're a Super Bowl contender. I'm tuning in. There, I said it. But I'm not going to do any grandiose predictions like, if Isaiah Williams, the undrafted rookie wide receiver, catches 3 touchdowns, I'm not making him a starter. All right, just because he did that in the preseason. There have been plenty of preseason stars, Miles Masick, Johnny Johnson, who was the wide receiver last year, Drummond, that was Dylan Drummond. It was like, oh, Dylan Drummond didn't make the team. I pumped the brakes, but I'm still intrigued. Maybe I'm doing a total flip-flop, but whatever. By the way, shout out to Jason Hillman, Mike Stone, and Craig Fellhandler, 3 of my good buddies, all driving down to Pittsburgh for the Bruce show tonight. Fellas, be safe. Yes, that Mike Stone. That's Stoney. I think he's seen Bruce like thousands of times. Anyway, and Fellhandler, let me tell you about Felly. Big Lions fan. That guy somehow sneaks up to the front row of these Bruce shows and gets video of him high-fiving Bruce every time. It's like an art form for him. But I digress. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Saturday. So here's what's intriguing about this whole thing. Number one, Mahomes and Kelsey and these guys playing against the Lions second and third teamers is going to be a great test for these guys. What if a guy like Mekhi Wingo flashes and gets through that Chiefs offensive line and is able to take down Mahomes? That is confidence. The young cornerbacks. I know that I don't think we're going to see Terrion Arnold. I don't think we're going to see Rakestraw, but guys like Amik Robertson and others getting reps against the best. I think that's great. But the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to, I really am, is Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker better start this game. Hendon Hooker must start this game and go up against the Chiefs' first team defense. I got to see it. We all have to see it. Because, yes, Jared Goff is very healthy. He's been very healthy for 3 seasons. He rarely misses time. It's awesome to watch. Jared Goff has been a model of health. All right. Last year they brought in Teddy Two Gloves Bridgewater, paid him $5 million to be the backup, and the guy never saw the field. Well, he saw it in like the Baltimore blowout and whatever. But like other than that, you rarely saw Teddy Bridgewater because Jared Goff has a very good offensive line. He's smart with his body and he's tough. All right. We saw the toughness that was Matthew Stafford before Goff got here, and Goff is just as tough. So a backup quarterback is an issue. And if we get a chance to watch Hendon Hooker, second-year man out of Tennessee, well, really rookie, didn't play last year, but you know what I mean. I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I want to see it. I want to see this because Nate Sudfeld's not good. We know that. And the Lions need to determine what their backup quarterback situation is. What if Hooker plays well against the Chiefs starting defense? What if he's terrible? What if Sudfeld's bad again? Do the Lions dip into that Ryan Tannehill hot tub and get a taste of that? Who knows? We'll see. But Hendon Hooker against the ones intrigues me. It does. It's going to be tough because the Lions aren't going to play a lot of their starters. So you're talking about a first string Super Bowl team against all backups. It might get ugly early, but that's okay. It's about reps. The score doesn't count. Let's see if guys can step up and make some plays against the Mahomes and Pacheco and Kelsey and these types of players. I believe they picked up Hollywood Brown, but he's hurt. But you know what I'm saying. So I want to see Hendon Hooker start. I think he's earned it. I think it's time. As Colton told you yesterday on the show, he's kind of out of concussion protocol after getting hurt on Friday of last week or Thursday of last week. So he's ready to play. Let's give him that opportunity. I'm very interested in seeing that. So I'm actually a little bit excited about Saturday now. I don't know. I wouldn't play Patrick. If I'm Andy Reid, I'm not playing Patrick Mahomes in the preseason. What does he need to play in the preseason for? But it sounds like the ones are going to play. So have at it. Coming up next, there was no NO trade for Matthew Judon after all. He is heading to the Falcons instead. Why didn't the Lions make a play? I think we have a little bit of an idea. We will get into that coming up next here on a Thursday edition of Locked On Lions. And Locked On Lions is sponsored by BetterHelp. If you're thinking about therapy, if you're thinking about yourself and your schedule, which is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Even when we know what makes us happy, it's hard to make time for it, right? But when you feel like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. So if you're thinking about starting therapy, I want you to try BetterHelp. That's H-E-L-P, BetterHelp. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/lockedon. That's BetterHelp.com/lockedon today to get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. Thanks to those of you that watch on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel and subscribe daily and check us out. We appreciate you doing that. Don't forget to check out Jake Riepma, Locked On Detroit Sports. He did a postcast this afternoon after the big Tigers win over the Mariners today. Man, the Mariners. Nobody gags. If you want to talk about all-time choke job teams, like what teams always choke. The Seattle Mariners are right up there. They are right up there with any professional sports franchise. When it going gets tough for the Mariners, they always find a way to cough it up. And today, just like last night, they coughed up a late inning lead to the Tigers. Give the Tigers credit. Sweeping the 3-game series from Seattle, who is a playoff team. By the way, that nickname for Kerry Carpenter, Kerry Bonds, that's lame. All right. Matthew Judon was traded yesterday. You want to talk about somebody that would have been a fit with the Lions? It's absolutely the 32-year-old edge rusher. Remember, the last season he played where he wasn't injured, played a full season, was 2022, and he had 15.5 sacks for the Patriots. Matthew Judon coming off the edge is still a force and still a really good football player. If you've been following the story, number one, he doesn't want to be in New England anymore because the team's rebuilding. They're kind of a joke, and they're probably going to end up with the worst record in the league. He's on the last year of his contract. He's only making $6.5 million and wanted a little bit of a renegotiation. Didn't hold out or anything, but just was not practicing at times, was unhappy. And yesterday, the Patriots and their owner, Bob Kraft, shipped Judon to the Atlanta Falcons for a third-round pick in the upcoming draft. Third rounder. Good value for Atlanta. Getting Judon, smart move by the young Patriots to get a day 2 draft pick. Now, many Lions fans, and I've seen a couple on the old Twitter machine, are saying, well, why did we go after him? Well, let me tell you why. What would have gotten you Matthew Judon was a third-round pick. The Lions don't have a third-round pick next year. Remember, they traded it away to move up to take Giovanni Manu. That remains to be seen if that was a good move by Brad Holmes or not. But they love the big tackle out of Canada. But Manu, in order to get Manu, they had to move up and give away some draft capital, which they did. And so the Lions did not have a third-round pick to trade to get Matthew Judon. I also think the Lions want to take a good long look at some of the guys they have. Marcus Davenport, is he healthy? They gave him $6.5 million. Is James Houston ready to just be a rush end? They tried him at that strong side linebacker, Sam linebacker spot the last few weeks. It didn't work out. He's a rusher, period. He's a third down, put him on the edge, let's go type of guy. Josh Pascal can play the position. They think they're going to get some interior pass rush from Malik McNeil and DJ Reader once DJ is healthy. Matthew Betts, the kid from the CFL. So they think depth in that spot. And I think that's where they wanted to go. Judon, I think, would have been a good culture fit. I know he's on a 1-year deal and all that, but I would have loved the pickup, but the Lions didn't have the draft capital to get him. You can't tell me Brad Holmes didn't have a conversation with Elliot Wolf or whomever is running the Patriots to see if there's a possibility. I'm sure he did. Plenty of teams were calling about Matthew Judon. Do I think the Lions are talking to the Jets about Hassan Reddick? Absolutely not. I don't see that being a fit. Hassan Reddick wanted out of Philly. Now he hasn't even dressed up for the dress for the Jets yet, and already wants out of there too. Too much of a headache for Brad Holmes. But the Judon thing would have been interesting. But again, the Lions did not have a third-round pick this coming year, and that was the asking price. I mentioned this before. I want to do this as well. So I go on these shows, right? A lot of times sports radio shows want to talk about the Lions. The Lions are a popular team. I was on the ESPN radio affiliate in Lafayette, Louisiana today, talking. They were going around the league, and they've talked to everybody from each city that has an NFL team and just do a little preview. They had me on to talk about the Lions. And I was on, I was doing a hit in Cleveland at 92.3 The Fan where I fill in. I was on some other shows. I was on with Peter Bukowski recently on the Locked On Daily Show. And everybody asks the same thing. There's two questions that come up, or two topics that come up constantly when I'm a guest on these shows. Number one, not a surprise, Jameson Williams. Other people in other markets want to know if Jameson Williams is going to be legit, if JMO is ready for a bigger role, what's happening with Jameson Williams, how's he looked in camp, blah, 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 blah. He's a hot button topic, and he's a hot button issue with you, the fans. When I said the other day on Monday that he had the drops over the weekend, all of you wanted to kill me. Why do you hate JMO? Why are you always on his ass? Well, I'm always on him because, quite honestly, he hasn't produced. I want to see production. The end around in New Orleans, the reverse for a touchdown last year. All right, that's production. The bomb in Tampa last year for a touchdown. Production. The reverse for a touchdown against the Niners in the NFC Championship game. Production. I want to see it more. I want to see more consistent, plays. My buddy Mike Vanderpool, Heart of the Lions fan, texted me yesterday. JMO's going to have 10 touchdowns. I said, I'll take the under. I'm not ready to crown him yet. Talent? Yes. Size? Yes. Speed? Sign me up. But can he do it consistently? Is he going to be that number 2 receiver that the Lions have been looking for to pair with the sun god, number 14, Amon-Ra St. Brown? Remains to be seen. So that's a big sports radio topic or question to me, is about JMO. The second one is letdown. Will the Lions have a letdown? Do you think the Lions' heads are too big? Do you think that ego is setting in? Do you think the Lions' expectations are, Super Bowl so that they're overconfident and overcocky? The answer is a flat out no. They are not. They are very confident, but it is a quiet confidence. There isn't an arrogance there. This team is so well coached, so well prepared, with Dan Campbell, with that staff. I don't think anybody is walking around 222 Rodwood Drive right now at the Meyer Performance Center going, oh yeah, we're Super Bowl bound, baby. We're the best. No one's beating us. Lions look at that schedule and know there's a lot of tough games there. They open up back-to-back, and I know they're both at home with playoff teams. Both teams looking for revenge on them with the Rams and Bucks. They got to go to Dallas. They got to go to San Francisco. They got to go to Houston. They got to go to Indy. The division's better. This is a good team, a really good team, but it's going to be a tough season. I think they can get through it. I think they're all, with their leadership. You talk about some of the veterans on this team. Kevin Zeitler, Taylor Decker, Jalen Reeves-Maben. They've been through the battle. Alex Anzalone. These guys have been through battles, man. Frank Ragnow. They're not going to let the young guys spout off and be cocky and arrogant and flashy and think, oh yeah, we're getting right back to that NFC title game. No, this team is focused on getting to the airport tomorrow, getting on that airplane to Kansas City and being on time and having no issues, so that travel in, travel back, play a football game on Saturday, try not to get people hurt. That's where I think this team is focused. I think they're laser focused on just playing one game at a time. Nobody's talking about Super Bowl or bust. We're the favorites. Oh, we got this because the Niners in Vegas are, but no, I don't see it. I think this team just wants to, and Dan Campbell said it a couple of weeks ago, The goal is still the same. Win your division, get a home playoff game. It makes life easier. That's what they're thinking about. Not thinking about anything else. So those are really the two questions that I'm getting a lot when I'm joining some other shows. All right, our call of the day is coming up next. One of our everydayers is checking in, which we appreciate. We'll do that coming up here on a Thursday edition of Locked On Lions. Locked On Lions is proud to be sponsored by our friends at FanDuel. Hey, if you had the under in today's Tigers-Mariners game, whatever it was, 2-1 final score, you will take it. If you bet on Javi Baez to hit a home run, you're cashing in. All right, we love sports. We don't want them to stop, but as all this playoff stuff is done and the Olympics are done, we have fewer games to watch. So the sports aren't sportsing like we want them to, but FanDuel is going to keep the sports going all summer long. All we got to do is open up the app and dream up bets anytime you and I are in the mood. This summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a booster, a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long at FanDuel. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Hope everybody's having a great Thursday and getting ready for a big weekend. I think it's a Dream Cruise weekend. All right. I will be staying away from Woodward. I can tell you that much. But no, seriously, have a great weekend. Be safe, everybody. We are going to be back tomorrow. We will have a Friday edition of a Locked On Lions. So, call of the day. Interesting question that was asked of me by Aaron, one of our everydayers, who chimes in on our call of the day at speakpipe.com/Dery podcast page. You can go there, speakpipe, PIPE.com/Dery podcast page. Leave a voicemail, and we might play it on the air here on Locked On Lions. Here is Aaron with today's call of the day. Let me press the button. Let's try that again.
Hey, Matt, this is Aaron Harmsel, everyday listener here. Love the show. Keep up the great work. Hey, so obviously the Lions right now are pretty much a consensus, top 5 team in the league, and to many a Super Bowl contender. My question today is a hypothetical one that I'd love to hear your thoughts on. And that is, what is the one position that if the Lions added a superstar, all-pro, best player in the league, that would transcend this team from not only being a contender, but actually, a favorite to winning the Super Bowl? Love to hear what you think. Thanks, Matt.
All right, Aaron Harmsel, thank you very much. I probably just butchered your name, but I appreciate Aaron checking in. He's our call of the day at our SpeakPipe at speakpipe.com/Dery podcast page. It's an interesting question. Aaron asks, what if the Lions could just add the best player at a position? What position would it be to put them over the top? It's very simple. If the Detroit Lions today were able to pluck Micah Parsons away from the Dallas Cowboys as an edge rusher opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, call off the dogs. It's simple. The Lions have one of the best centers. The Lions have one of the best right tackles. The Lions have a very good left tackle. Lions have highly rated running backs. Yeah, I guess you could say, well, if the Lions got Patrick Mahomes, yeah, but Jared Goff's pretty good too. I'm not saying he's as good as Mahomes, but, safeties, linebackers, whatever. To me, you win up front. And I question whether or not on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson, there is going to be enough get to the quarterback opposite of Hutch. Will Davenport do it? Will Pascal do it? Will Betts do it? Will James Houston do it? Will Derek Barnes do it? Derek Barnes is going to be a guy that rushes the passer. But Micah Parsons, if you took the best edge rusher, and again, some of you could argue and say, oh, I think Montez Sweat's better, or I think the Bosa brothers, whatever. To me, Micah Parsons is so feared, so good. And you took him off Dallas as an edge rusher and put him on the Lions. Oh, man, I think that would make the Lions defense unstoppable. Unflipping stoppable. Because I just think that's a premium position. I think those are the guys that you pay. you pay the tackles, you pay the ends, you pay these linemen because they're protecting the most valued commodity, the quarterback. And on the other side, they're going after and disrupting said quarterback. You know, there's not a lot of elite rushers anymore. You know, Aaron Donald just retired. And I know he was a defensive tackle, but that was an elite player, you know, on the edge. And you think about elite rushers and you go back to a guy like Reggie White or, you know, Richard Dent when he was with the Bears, 85 Bears, guys like that were just elite pass rushers. You know, Mark Gastineau back in the day, and I'm really dating myself now, from the 80s with the Jets. You know, guys like that come to mind. But I look at today's edge rusher. Remember, Charles Haley was just awesome at getting to the quarterback when he was with the Niners and the Cowboys. Loved Charles Haley. You know, Hutch is becoming very, very good to great. Micah Parsons is obviously elite when it comes to rushing the passer. So that would be my question, or kind of my answer to Aaron, who chimed in today as our call of the day. Lions and Chiefs on Saturday. More of a preview tomorrow. Give you a few keys to what we're going to be looking for and some players that certainly need to step up on that roster bubble. All of that tomorrow right here on a Friday, Locked On Lions. Thanks for checking us out today, wherever you get your podcasts. Tell your friends about us. We'd love it. We'd love it if you'd spread the word about us. We're back again tomorrow.